Why are there so many crazy stories coming out of Florida? Is Florida really that crazy? Or do we just see what we look for? Hi, thanks for watching. Today is Wednesday, and on my channel, that's Big Idea Wednesday. Yes, I'm still trying to make that happen. And what I do is I just take an idea, sometimes a psychological phenomenon, or just something that I think is interesting, an idea, and I go into it a little bit deeper. Today, I want to talk about the idea of you see what you look for, or you find what you look for. Specifically, I'm going to give you the example about all of the stories about Florida Man. Now, you may have noticed that in the media there seems to be another story about some crazy act by a guy in Florida nearly every single day in the media. You've seen it for years. So much so, there's a subreddit on Florida Man, there's a Twitter account, Florida Man, where they just highlight all of the stories about crazy people in Florida. And you may think, wow, there really are a lot of crazy dudes in Florida. But do you know why you hear those stories? Let me explain. See, in Florida, they have something called the Sunshine Law. Florida began its tradition of openness back in 1909 with the passage of Chapter 119 of the Florida Statutes, or the Public Records Law. This law provides that any records made or received by the public agency in the course of its official business are available for inspection unless specifically exempted by the Florida legislature. Now, this includes papers, maps, books, but also tapes, photographs, film, sound recording, and records stored in computers. Now, that's different than a lot of other states. For example, here in Portland, just last week, our mayor ordered that Portland police give victims crime reports for free. That's right. Up until last week, if you were a victim of a crime and you wanted a copy of that report, you had to pay for it here in Portland. But that's not the case in Florida. In Florida, all of the records are open for everyone, and that includes journalists in other states. But first, let me give you a couple Florida Man stories. This is just from the past couple of weeks. Florida Man drives Ferrari off dock and into sea. Florida Man steals Christmas wreath off neighbor's door, hangs it on his own. Florida Man caught shoplifting during job interview at Kohl's. Florida Man admits having sex with miniature horse. See, there are so many stories about Florida Man, and the reason is that the records in Florida are open for anyone. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's say I have my own newspaper, right? I'm here in Portland. My name's Tom Coffee, and I run the Daily Coffee. And you know what? I need one more article for today. Well, I could go out and investigate things and interviews and do research and things like that. But you know what's a lot easier than that? I could just get online and look at arrest records in Florida. I can scan through them, find something nutty, and that's something that I can write a story about. Because I don't have to go interview witnesses. I don't have to go out and scout out locations. I don't have to find photos. They're all public record, and I could just put that in the story. And so in the original story, if you search back and find the first reporting about one of these Florida Man stories, you will often see in it according to the arrest report. Now, what will happen is someone like me, I will put out a story, and I will do according to the arrest report, and then I will mention what the witnesses say and put in some photographs that are open record. Next, Huffington Post is looking for more stories to get clicks, and they notice on my site that I've got this story. So they'll rewrite my story, and now the Huffington Post might say, well, according to the Daily Coffee, and then give the same details that I gave. But if you search back through any of these Florida Man stories and find the first story printed, you'll often find that it just cites the arrest report. And that is because of Florida's Sunshine Law. It's the same thing. We get what we look for. We find what we look for. Let's say you're a fact-checking website or a fact-checker. I'm looking at you, Jake Tapper. And all you do is fact-check Donald Trump. Then you're going to see story after story after story about mistakes or things that Trump said that are wrong. And I'm sure, yes, there are plenty of those. But if that's the only thing you look for, then that's the only thing that gets printed. Another example in your personal life, let's say you live with someone and they leave their coffee mug everywhere. They leave it on the floor, they leave it on the edge of the table, they leave it next to the TV. You will see that all the time because that's what you're looking for. But in the same way, you don't see that you left your shoes out, you don't see what you left on the floor, you don't see a dirty dish that you left out, but you do see every single empty coffee mug that someone else left out. You see what you look for, and that's why we see so many stories about crazy guys in the state of Florida. Did you know about Florida's Sunshine Law? Let me know in the comments. Peace. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. You can help me reach my goal of 1 million, make that 4,000 subscribers by hitting the like button and subscribing. Thanks.